Evening, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earth Watch on Friday, June 16, 2023 on our planet. Hope you're all well. God, memories. I'm back in boot camp again. The horror. So anyway, let me back up some of my recent videos, what I've been seeing. Earthquakes in diverse places shall there be. So let's get started with today's, shall we? So I started off in the coast of Brazil, just south of Sao Paulo. Magnitude 4 earthquake, just inland, location where we never have earthquakes before. Shortly afterwards, we had a shallow 4.8 and then a very, very shallow 5.3 at 0.6 or 0.7 kilometers, western France. My God, are you shocked and surprised? He shouldn't be. I wasn't. Nope. Knew it was going to happen. Why? Because I've been covering it for the past 6 months. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? So since the beginning of the year, starting around February, I think, I started providing some information about some seismic events, heat anomalies, and, guess what, fires. On the coastal areas, countries on the western continental shelf of Europe, starting with southern tip of Norway and southwest Norway, England, Scotland, Ireland, France, Portugal. I have been reporting on first all the heat anomalies, and in three or four instances since February of this year, following a spread of heat anomalies, fires. This includes southern Norway, not many, a couple, where there's still snow on the ground. One in Scotland, to the west of Glasgow, in minus 18 degrees, folks. Wildfire. A really large one. Heat anomalies offshore in that region as well. Also in the beginning of this year, on the southern tip of Ireland, a massive, non-exaggeration, massive spread of heat anomalies. In southern Ireland, shortly thereafter, a half a dozen wildfires break out. Towards the end of winter. Seismic activity all around France, especially northwest corner of France, but also the south coast in the Med and the Alps, as well as offshore western France. Now, before I continue, the France location earthquakes falls within the 30-degree parameter from the day prior deep earthquake 7.2 south of Fiji. So the exact pinpoint antipode is Mali, Africa. But if this is Mali, Africa, the seismic wave, as it travels through the center of the earth and as it passes through the core, can be diverted by 30 degrees. And France falls within that parameter. Just saying. So we've had all that documented activity for the past 5 months on the west continental shelf of Europe. This is why I was not surprised to see those earthquakes today. Just inland western France. I'm also not surprised because guess what? Ding, he says so. Okay, remember his playlists: Matthew, Luke, Mark, Isaiah, all the boys. Earthquakes in diverse places. Remember my last few videos and what to expect? Shazam. Let's carry on. So let's just go back for the past few months. Let's just stick with this year, some of the recent earthquakes in diverse places where we never have them before. Let's start off with the coast of Carolinas. Remember the 4.9 earthquake in the middle of the ocean, halfway between the Carolina and Bermuda? Shortly thereafter, heat anomaly on the ocean floor. Remember that one? And some follow-up seismic responses around Bermuda. Then we have 3 or 4 magnitude 4 earthquakes at, guess where? Offshore Nova Scotia. We had a magnitude 4 earthquake off the coast of California, well south, well past the Cascadia subduction zone, nowhere near a fracture zone. Recently, the 6.2 earthquake in the northern tip of Quebec. And many, many other examples, earthquakes in diverse places. They started off with magnitude 2s, they worked into magnitude 3s, now magnitude 4s. And I think we're going to be stepping up to magnitude 5s and 6s, earthquakes in diverse places, as well as a continuation of rising heat through the mantle plumes, lithospheric melting, and fires. Not by invading arsonist armies into Canada, not by laser beams from space. So what to expect next? As I've been saying, to expect these events in diverse places. Continuation of I'm going to back up a minute. Sorry. There have been at least 2 occasions in the past 8 to 12 months. Deep earthquakes below France. You do not have deep earthquakes below France. And on 2 or 3 times, deep earthquakes below Turkey before the catastrophic earthquakes in Turkey. Just consider it, all right? So if I am correct, and again, those mantle plumes, some of you are bored of me showing you this, but we have some new people. So a mantle plume is a large arm extension from the outer core. The mantle plumes are anchored to the outer core where a magnetic field is generated from. Sometimes you'll have hotter magmatic material coming up, and as it comes to the underside of the lithosphere in which the crust sits upon, it spreads to what we call the mantle plume head. It can spread thousands of kilometers in diameter. So you can have branches, arms, nodes poking up through the lithosphere, causing lithospheric melting, thinning, heat coming up, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, fires. In diverse places. Oh, Norway, Scotland, minus 18 degrees, Ireland, Canada, now, as I've been saying for the past year, in order of succession, we're going to see responses starting off where the crust is thinnest, the oceanic crust, which is an average of 6 kilometers thick. Next, 2, we're going to see responses along the continental shelf, such as I have just explained. Norway, England, Scotland, Ireland, perimeter of France, and Portugal. Third, we're going to be seeing responses along the coastal areas, such as we have been seeing. And finally, fourth, further inland, well within the continental regions. No, I don't know a timing. I have a theory. The theory is being proven. Now, one thing I should note that most of these events recently were not following solar events, solar impacts into our planet, with the exception of the past 24 hours. We've had an enhanced solar stream hitting our planet from a coronal hole opening. But everything else has been relatively calm, impact-wise, into our magnetosphere. So let's continue to expect the unexpected in diverse places, such as I have been saying, and more importantly, now, if you're one of the great many who only follow and are waiting for something that's going to happen in the late 2030s or 2040s, and you know what? It doesn't matter whether it's a crustal slip or an actual physical polar shift. It doesn't matter. The consequences are the same. And if that is all you are thinking about, you are a blind fool. You do not recognize the series of events expected to happen before then, such as they are now beginning to manifest. You do not believe or know of Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark, Isaiah, and all the rest of the boys. The earthquakes in diverse places, the famines, the pestilence, the great wonders and terrors, the signs from above. You're not preparing for all of those. So now, folks, you know I'm not one of the fearmongers. Nor do I go like this to my viewers, such as someone else does. Who has an almighty ego placing himself above God, and has openly stated that he will publicly name and humiliate people on his YouTube page. I'm not like the other guy across the pond either, who constantly begs for money and insults you for not giving you money, and who has been proven to be an outright fraud. And by the way, people, tomorrow, the 17th, the goalposts will be moved. Because he's done this so many times. As of tomorrow, it's going to be, well, it's going to be between 40 degrees and 45 degrees. That can take hundreds of years. Or it can take 5 years. I'll save that for a second video. Maybe I'll go out for another drive tomorrow. Play my music. So no, I had to be retired from work because of my degenerative disc disease of the spine and arthritis throughout my body. All I got is a measly government pension and a tiny little bit of dwindling help from family. So I appreciate it very much for those. I mean, I got, 4,800 people on my Facebook page, 663 people on my YouTube channel. So come on over and subscribe and hit the little subscribe button. Basically it's just me, and I got autistic daughter under my care I gotta take care of. And if I can get the 1,000 subscriber mark and I get 4,000 watch hours, then I can apply for monetization. I've heard something about this Patreon. I understand a lot of other YouTubers have a Patreon where they, for like $1 a month or something like that, they will provide extra content. But let me tell you something, people. You name me one other person out there in YouTube land who is providing you the same information I am morning, day, and night of all the birth pain symptoms that's happening to our planet. Did you hear anything on the news about the earthquake in France? Or the one in Sao Paulo, Brazil? Northern Quebec? No. Like I said, I'm not like the other guy. I don't whine and beg. This is my dedication because I recognize the importance. This is my dedication to you, my family. Anyway. Like I said, let's expect a continuation. And as I keep on saying, if that larger celestial body is approaching, and again, you have to match up everything else that's been happening on our planet. The beast system, which is just, they're frantically getting ready. But remember, before the implementation of the beast system, before his arrival from the sea of people at the second 42 months of tribulation, we must first go through all those birthing pains, all those earthquakes in diverse places, the volcanic explosions, eruptions, fires, famines, pestilence. That all has to happen first. Now, maybe because one of those person is anti-Christian, anti-God, who absolutely denies there's a planet approaching. Anyway, another video. So let's not expect a pole shift tomorrow. Shit. Okay, that's going to change. But in all seriousness, do expect a continuation of these earthquakes in diverse places, and don't think of places like, oh, I don't know, San Andreas and Cascadia Subduction Zone in Japan and Philippines and Indonesia. Might be your back door. Hell, in my province in British Columbia, the Wells Gray volcanic field has been increasing. Just north of me, 3.3 earthquake. France. Anybody in Western France? I don't know the exact location, but shoot me a comment if you live there and if you felt anything. What are the felt reports? Any fires starting up there? Anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to spend a little bit more time snooping around our planet, seeing what's happening. I have my phone, my earthquake app set to give me an alert tone of anything greater than or anything 5.9 and greater. And I'm going to be honest with you. Up until about a week ago, you know, I sort of get used to it. You know, okay, well, whatever, Fiji again, whatever. Now when that damn thing wakes me up in the middle of the night, I kind of wake up in anticipation, a little bit trepidation. Where is it now and how big is it? So you need to go through your own preparedness beyond the spiritual preparedness. And that in of itself is a battle within your own family unit, if you know what I mean. All the other steps of preparedness you need to go through. All your preps, man. If you're prepared for the worst case scenario, you're prepared for everything else to happen before then. Your independent fuel supply for cooking, heating, water, food, water purification, first aid, security, all those things. Expect to be isolated. And if the governments and the elite, maybe not so much the elite, but the governments, as they have been knowing since at least 1979, and people, Ukraine is an orchestrated distraction. Look for an intensification. When you see intensification of distractions around the world, all the rhetoric, constant rhetoric, remember that guy at the air show. Remember the guy at the air show who's looking behind his back for that low-flying aircraft to come up from behind the crowd and scare the shit out of the crowd. Okay. This is why the World Health Organization and the World Economic Forum are doing what they're doing so fast, so they can have all their control measures in place. And again, it's a lot easier to impose martial law for whatever reason if the population is already on lockdown. Say, for example, I don't know, the next pandemic, which they say is going to happen, and they say it's going to be far, far worse than the last one, which was only a trial run. Anyway, I can go on and on and on all night, but you know what? I got to get my sleep. Take care, folks.